Auditor Beth Wood's statements in this audit are absolutely scathing. Why?
Aside from that, Mrs. Lincoln, what did you think of the show?
Okay.
I mean, it was scathing because this is the fourth time that DHHS, that this particular area of DHHS has been subjected to audits. And now this actually counts as more of an investigative report of this division at DHHS, and nothing has been done. Essentially, the situation has been allowed to continue. The person targeted by the audit continued to be employed there until she retired, and there were very few steps taken to prevent this from happening, except to put somebody to supervise her, which basically insulated the department from any kind of legal action, which is another interesting development that's pointed out in the audit.
What division are we talking about here in Health and Human Services?
This is essentially IT. This is the division that operated the management information systems for Medicaid. And so this, we've talked before about the NC Trax system, which was the computer system that was inherited to some extent by Aldona Vosch, who's the Secretary of Health and Human Services, and that was implemented over time, that always was going to be on time, it was going to be under budget, it was going to work fine, and of course it didn't work that way because state IT systems never work the way they're designed. It just never happens that way.
Now, you mentioned this is an investigative audit. I believe this came in off of a tip. Someone called in the tip line and said there's something going on over here.
Right, exactly. And what was found was that the person targeted by the audit, who's Angeline Sly, who is now retired, had been hiring friends, relatives, associates to jobs at DHHS under her purview, had been actually overruling the people at HR in the Health and Human Services Department about what suggested salaries should be, basically putting people in classifications to which they weren't qualified and bumping up their salaries, using a private temporary hiring service rather than the state-run hiring services, that way allowing people to get more money than they would have otherwise. And just this series of abuses that totaled roughly $1.6 million that was not caught until the audit took place.